Hi, today I'm gonna do the interview with Queen's Park Rangers defender Nedum Onuoha. Hi Onuoha. I wanted to ask you, who was your boyhood idol?
Oh, believe it or not, when I was growing up, I used to watch, say, a lot of foreign football on programs like Gazzetta Football Italia and stuff. And I quite like George Weir actually. George Weir, when he was at Milan, he was a special player.
When you were a child, like Italian football was known for having the best defenders in the world.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Who caught your eye more than any other player?
To be honest, when I was younger, I didn't really like watching defenders. I was more about the attackers. Yeah, it was people like George Weir and things like that. I even used to watch, say, with Nigeria at the time, people like Sunday and Lise and Kanu, and they were special. They were really entertaining.
And do you think that the Serie A was better in the 90s or the Premier League now?
Do you mean if you compare the two?
Compare the two.
I think it's different. I think as every year passes, the leagues and stuff becomes more tactical, but as well as speed as well. So I did enjoy watching Serie A. I enjoy watching Serie A now, but it's more sort of about, say, Juve or 2 or 3 teams basically. But 90s, I'd rather watch 90s Serie A then. And now I quite like Premier League.
And as a defender, who's the most gifted attacker you've ever come up against?
Well, I've come up against quite a few actually. I've been very fortunate. I've played in games against Messi, Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, Tevez, like all of them, absolutely all of them. But I'd say the craziest thing was when I was playing against Messi. It was only for maybe 15-20 minutes, but when he was on the pitch, it felt like there was like a superhuman on the field. So yeah, I'd take him.
And was it tougher to mark Drogba or Luis Suarez?
Suarez, when he was in England, there was a spell where he was like unplayable. But then it was the same with Drogba, like he could bully anybody. But for the two of them, I would say Suarez, because Suarez he was more unpredictable, and you can't defend against that because you don't know what's going to happen.
And on the other hand, who's the best player you've ever played with?
Once again, I can tell you who I played with if you want.
Aguero, for example.
Yeah, you could say Aguero, you could say Tevez, you could say David Silva, you could say Yaya Toure, played with Anelka. There's so many players, but for me, I'd say just for how easy he makes it look, I would say David Silva. He's special.
And in January 2012, you left Man City to come to QPR. And just 5 months later, the Etihad outfit went on to win the league. Do you regret leaving City at that moment?
Not a regret, no, not a regret, because I wasn't playing. If I would have stayed, I imagine the season would have happened the same way the first 5 months happened. I played 1 league game and 2 cup games. So as a professional, your career is only maybe 15 years maximum. So if you spend years just playing 2-3 games, by the time you get to the end, you've not played anything at all. So I was disappointed that I didn't play more. But in the end, I knew that I had to leave, so I don't really regret it now.
And you played in the most dramatic Premier League game of all time, maybe. Man City beating QPR 3-2 in the final game of the Premier League season 2011-2012. Do you think this is the best game there's ever been in the Premier League? In terms of emotion, in terms of...
Maybe, because as well as that game, Man United thought that they'd won the title, so there was a third team that were in there as well. People don't really talk about United, there's more so talk about City. But that must have been so emotional for them, but for the wrong reasons. Of games that I've watched or seen, I've seen 4-3 games and people coming back and winning things and so on, but they tend to just be for 3 points halfway through the season. But that there, in that moment, special. I don't think there's a scenario which I could create in my mind now which would ever be as great as the one which I was involved in that day. I can say I'm playing against my old team or I'm playing to win this or to stay up here. But for me personally, it might be different for other people, but that was me playing against my old team and they could win the league, we could go down. Everything, it could have been the worst day of my career, but instead it was the best day of my career. So yeah, for me, it was amazing.
And English teams are struggling at the moment in European competitions. What are for you the reasons for the shortcomings?
I don't know. I think the English teams they're good teams. They're good teams, but the level around Europe is getting a lot better as well. I think it might have been a few years ago, maybe when the Italian team didn't say do very well in certain times, and there's a reliance on Juve, or in Germany they did really well one season, not so good the next. I think it's just the way that us as viewers perceive what's going on. Like when there's international football, if England or Italy are playing against, say, an Andorra or Moldova or a team like this, 10, 15 years ago, it's probably 6-7-0. But now the game might finish 1 or 2-0. So it's a case of, I think, other teams are getting better. So there's no such thing as an easy game, even though the perception is you're from England, you're from Italy, you're from Germany, you should win this game easily. I think that's what it is, and also our perception.
And do you still regard the Premier League as the top league in Europe?
Do you know, I personally don't. I never have done, really. I think it's an interesting league because it's so different. You can play against a team that plays one way, and then the next week you play against a team that plays the exact opposite. So you have to, I think, to win this league, you have to be more. You have to have more about it. You're not gonna just outpass a team every week and everything be okay. Say, like, when people ask the question, how would Barcelona, how would Real, how would Bayern Munich do when they come to England? They might not do as well as they do in their own country, because in Spain, top to bottom, all the teams are going to play football. The same in Germany. But here, maybe 8 of the teams will play really good football. 6 of the teams might play okay football, and then 6 teams it would just be a fight, and not everybody can deal with that fight. So I don't necessarily think it's the best, but I think it's probably the hardest to win.
And you told me before that you liked watching Serie A growing up. What do you think of the level of Serie A nowadays? Because many say it's a league in decline, not the best players play there anymore.
I think there's been a lot of change. I grew up, and I think you grew up as well. The time seeing teams like AC Milan being the best, not one of the best. But that's changing now. They're going through their phase. It's been 2 or 3 years and so on. But I enjoyed it. Like, even it was only yesterday I was watching Napoli against Inter Milan, and considering how bad Inter Milan have been for the past 2 seasons, I think this was a really good game, a really entertaining game. And the cliche of, if you watch the Italian game, it's going to finish 1-0 or 0-0. I think that's gone now. So the level, it's changing, but I think it's changing and becoming more like other leagues, and I think it's quite entertaining.
And last season, QPR boasted a wealth of superstars. What were the reasons for the club's relegation? Like, wasn't there a unit in the dressing room, or?
No, I don't think it comes down to the unity in the dressing room so much. I think you can have a belief that going into any game, because you've trained hard, you've worked hard, and you feel positive, and everyone's together, you believe that you're going to get something from the game. But inevitably, that doesn't make any difference, because that's the same thing, the same as the other team. So no matter what you think you can do that makes a difference, at the end of the day, it just comes down to winning football matches. And the longer you go not winning games, it affects your confidence. And you might think, well, we'll be okay. But then other people stop believing in you as well. So you could be in a stadium where the fans expect you to lose. And just little things like that. You come onto the pitch and then go 1-0 down, and then it's almost like everyone in the stands accepted that you're going to lose the game. And you need everybody to believe. If one person doesn't believe, then it's quite hard. I think when you're losing every week, it's unfortunately the downside.
You used to play with Joey Barton, a man watched by millions and known by few. The press calls him a rebel. What kind of person is Joey Barton, really?
Well, he's definitely a talking point. He's a talking point. Not everyone agrees with everything that he is. Like, he has some very strong views, and I didn't agree with probably 90% of the stuff that he says. Probably not agree with 95% of the stuff that he does. But he's someone that's played the game for many years, so you can't discredit the fact that he knows how to play football and he knows his position. It's just certain things that he says and does off the field. It's just only he could do them or say them, and it's acceptable. But yeah, for me, it wasn't. It's not really my type of person. I accept him on the pitch, but off the field, no.
And what did you think when he kicked Tevez and Aguero in that dramatic game in 2012?
I personally think he gets away with that. He gets away with it a lot. Like, he served his suspension and so on, but that is a true moment of madness in the biggest game of our season. You know, you don't.
He let you down.
Yeah, he did let us down. And for some of us, after that game, we didn't see him again. He wasn't in the dressing room after the game celebrating or anything like that. We didn't see him, so we were very let down. But in the same breath, he was lucky because everyone else was so happy as well that it wasn't a thing. If we would have lost the game and been relegated, I think he would have been in a different position.
Probably the scapegoat.
Yeah, exactly.
It's common knowledge that money is what gets most young footballers going nowadays. What was your drive at the time?
You know, I don't think it's as simple as that to say that money gets them going. I think nowadays they do get a lot of money for what they do. I think you can have a career now before you've really had a career. But just that's not their fault. It's like we're born into this generation, we're born into this era. It's just the same as saying people with every generation that changes. You look at our generation now, we look at the people in 10 years' time and say this is so different to us. Then they look 10 years' time and this is so different to us. And you know, I'm not angry at that. I accept that's what it is. But my motivation when I was younger, the most enjoyable years of my career were when I was playing from under 15 until under 17s, 18s, because I was playing with people that were my age. So these are people who would be your school friends, and those are my friends. And being able to work with them every day and play with them on the weekend, I couldn't ask for more, because very soon you get into the first team and you could be 17, 18 years old, and there's a guy that's 36 years old who's talking about mortgages, retirement, and you want to be close to them, but you can't be really, because it could be your son, so my motivation back then was just playing with my friends, and I think it's the same for some of the kids now, but they just get paid a lot more money for it.
And your former manager, Harry Redknapp, 2 weeks ago, he said that nowadays footballers think they have made it after signing their first professional contract, after playing 5 minutes in the Premier League. Have you experienced this firsthand with some of your teammates?
Well, yes and no. I think some people think they've made it when they start training with the first team, but not everybody's like that.
That's when it starts.
Yeah, there was a book that was given to me when I left City by someone that worked there, and it was called "What Got You Here Won't Get You There." And the point is, whatever you've done to be able to achieve something, if you keep doing that same thing, it's not going to be enough. You'll never get past that point. But for some people, they just believe that that's it, and this is all they needed to do. But there are a lot more goals than just making your debut. I think the more people that understand it, the better they do. But unfortunately, some people they don't see that.
And how do you want to be remembered once you call time on your career by people?
When I was younger, I was obsessed with what people thought about me, my performances. I always used to go online and look at, say, player ratings and stuff. But then, as I got older, I started to realise that some of that, if not most of it, was unjust. Because at the end of the day, the people doing the thing, giving the ratings and their opinions, it's the classic example is the match of the day. Most of the guys haven't seen every minute of every game, yet still they give their opinion on it. And then whatever they say on national TV, 90% of people will listen to that and create that as their own opinion. So you could have a supporter of Swansea City who says that the worst defender at QPR is me or something, but they've never watched us play the game. So, as I say, as I got older, my belief was I just want to be respected by the people that played with me. I want people to know that if they ever talk about good players that they played with, I'd like to be mentioned. And when those are the people that see you every day, if they're the ones that know that say you are a good player, then the opinions of the others who don't really know